quick thing before the pod starts. Biscuit Fun Games is currently running a sale for the rest of the month of July. Go grab any of our games for up to 50% off, including the Levante Papers, Tournament Art, Goblin Country, and brand new No Picnics in the Dungeon. Okay, thank you very much. Welcome to Game Soup. It's a game design podcast where we throw ideas in a pot and see what's cooking. I'm Chloe Montgomery, and I'm joined by your pest's pest,
Killer Dice.
Is that a
I didn't need
rat
to do the
noise?
hiss. I don't know. It sounded sort of like a... But I actually don't... I mean, I feel like pests in general are considered small enough to not be, like, noise-making instruments. I guess buzzing.
Yeah.
But, that's not necessarily a mouth sound, you know. It's more made by, I assume, the flapping of wings and other things.
I don't know how bees make noise. If you know how bees work, let us know.
Are their bodies hollow and it's the sound of, like, wind rattling through them?
That sounds like nonsense, but I'll believe that.
That sounds like something I heard, like, something to do with their bodies, but now I don't know if that was a joke, like a sort of, like...
Yeah, it's
like
like,
a sort
in
of,
my
like-
new fantasy game, bees are hollow and they have gold inside of them.
Yeah, it sounds like something someone would make up as sort of, like, science fantasy bullshit, but I feel like I heard that and I did not just make it up. Do you want to use pest as a word today?
Yeah, pest and burn. Burn, because I have a little flyer from Dragon Meat next to me that has Burn Burrow on it. I don't know if that's still
Oh.
kickstarting, but give it a Google.
Burn and pest. Now, this is, I feel like the starting question we need to ask on this is a game about being a pest, or is it a game about being pest control?
I mean, I don't want a game where you're burning bees, because that sounds kind of... ugh. But
Yeah, or whatever, even anything you consider a pest. If we're doing a pest control game, that sounds kind of... I can say, it feels messed up. But I know it's like, why is that when, like, obviously if you're just doing violence doesn't feel messed up? And then I'm like, well, I guess it's because pest control is, like... There's the power imbalance is there. Like, in a way that I think would make it feel bad to play. So, it's probably about being a pest. We being literal
Yeah.
pest, or pest in the sort of Kayla sense?
I mean, I have too many games about being a mouse and being small, so...
Yeah. You're really struggling against those
I'm
size
trying to
kink
get out of the,
allegations.
yeah. Listen, it's not one of my things.
That's what makes it even funnier, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, I just admit it.
So, actually, no, this now thing, because I'm now thinking of the other way of burn. I think this is a game about being mean.
Oh, you're trying to burn people.
Yeah, it's like burning people, being a pest. For some
See,
reason,
my
my
brain
mind's
is-
now gone to, like, dating simulator with, like, fighting mechanics. Like, not, like, mechanics for actual fighting, but, like, someone has hit points in terms of, like,
social
oh,
fighting,
you
yeah.
can be, like, this kind of playfully mean and it's charming. Oh, no, you rolled over. That's really... You went too
yeah,
far.
you've crossed a line there, yeah.
I think it's a roll under game purely about social interactions. I think it's, like, a two-player game. Or maybe, like... Maybe more. Maybe it's, like, multiple people, like, taking turns with, like, the pest character. But it's, like, I feel like, yeah, all of the sort of, like, roll under stuff are, like, reaction rolls for the NPCs, and whether it's, like, no, you've upset a person. And, like, obviously you could try and not roll, or, like, try and do things
Yeah.
to just roll nice, like, really, like, low. But also maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's something interesting about, like, a sort of all you have is a hammer thing. Like, maybe it's like, yeah, you can only roll and, like, actually make a connection for the character you're playing with this sort of playful meanness way. You don't have rolls to do... Yeah?
I think it's like a Pokemon game, and you have to, like, flirt with people to, like, get them on your team, but you can also just, like, be mean to them and, like, break their spirit.
Oh.
So it's like, oh yeah, I want to get this tall woman on my team, so I flirt with her, and I don't want to roll too high, or she'll think I'm being actually mean. But then, when I'm fighting somebody that I don't want on my team, or whatever, someone I can't convince, or who isn't attractive to me, I get them to neg them, and that does more damage or something. But you just read them for filth, and then...
So it's the same mechanics for genuine meanness, where it's presumably flipping to a roll over?
Yeah, you have to roll over to do damage, and roll under to... So it's like, depending on like how you built your character, you might just be better at just being actually mean, or be better at like flirting or whatever.
I feel like now we have invented a game where you need to have like heavy safety tools though, because I don't think we want to accidentally create Abuser Simulator 2025. But I do like that if it is sort of like an idea about lots of like sort of social things. Yeah. I think it could be fun if it's actual flirting. I was going to say, like, if we wanted to move away from that, we could tone it down to just, like, a sort of, banter back and forth friendship. I think, like, it being flirting is fun.
And it's like, your polycule is your party or whatever, and it's like, can you get your party to, like, get along with each other? Like, this tall goth woman, is she, like, able to be friends with men? Like...
I think maybe it is, maybe you're like, I think you also have a task of some kind, which, like, you could probably, like, spec to anything, but I'm like, one idea that just came to my mind is, like, you're building a battle of the bands, and your approach to this is you are bringing everyone into a polycule for your band, and that's why you're being mean, you're, like, demoralizing people. You're building a fucking battle rap crew, or something, like, the game is just the mechanics for this sort of, like, flirting versus, like, ripping someone to shreds, two sides. And then I think we just have, like, almost, like, big pick lists or, like, a world-building thing where you're like, well, what are you actually trying to do with this? Like, why is...
Yeah.
This isn't just a slice of life simulator. You've got an adventure or a purpose that is about, like, ripping into people.
Yeah. I like that adding the band aspect, because it kind of gives it, like, something to hang on.
Yeah, I think you do need something to hang on, something you're trying to do, and I feel like there needs to be enough of a sort of purpose that this isn't just a game about being, like, a legitimate twat. Like, I feel like it does need to be some context where both, like, the sort of playful meanness is, like, we excuse the playful meanness in the sense of, like, oh, well, that's the dynamic you're having with this person, but, like, you can fuck it up if you go too far. But then, I think the being genuinely mean thing, there needs to be some kind of context that is why this is okay. Either like, well, this is really the dynamic of this band scene. Or, you're doing some kind of, like... I know when to, like, maybe it's something about, like, trying to get some kind of document from a really annoying bureaucracy. And you need to build, like, people with different skills who can all help out, but then also when it's there, it's just being very mean to people who are trying to fuck you over. Like, that's maybe another... I think you just have a couple of, like, playsets, which are what is this, like, polycule hater game.
I think one of them is just, like, you're in a battle of the bands, you're trying to rap battle people. Another one is you're trying to get whatever documents from whatever bureaucracy. The other one is just, like, you're trying to kill God. And you can't use a sword to kill God, you have to, like, break down God's spirit. Or, like, whatever yokai or whatever.
I feel this is called hater data.
I like it. It's perfect.
Yeah. I think we should wrap on hater data, otherwise I think we end up writing it.
Yeah, thank you for listening to games. No.
No, I mean do another fucking game. Not doing an 11-minute episode. None of us have even had a call from the tax man or whatever.
Okay, I will open up my random word generator.
I actually also need to go to a random word generator.
So I've got awful.
Awful. So I'm going to specifically go for a noun here.
Yeah.
Those are all sad. Like drought, awful drought, that's just a documentary. Awful schizophrenia, once again, just feels like a sad, bleak portrait. Okay, this one is funner now. Awful astronomer.
So you have to draw. You get one person to draw some random stars on a thing, and then you have to link them together like a connect the dots, and then you have to tell people what that is actually the what do you call it? The constellation of.
Constellation, yeah. I feel maybe even you go into a sort of like fun Greek myth way where like it's
you have
also
to tell the mythology behind.
Yeah, about
the
how
saucepan.
this figure or whatever got put in the stars.
Yeah.
That feels like a fun sort of like storytelling party game. I feel like it's almost a one-page game, to be honest.
Yeah, one-page game. It's called Constell-ass-ions.
Yeah. Constell-action-ions, did you say?
Constell-ass-ions. It's like an ass, like ass. Like a butt.
Like a butt. Because it's... Okay, yeah. Constell-ass-ions. Yeah, like, I think it's a one-page game. I think maybe you have some, like... Just in terms of drawing shapes, you have examples. I think if you wanted to do it as, like, a tiny pamphlet or something, instead of just a flat A4 one-pager, you'd have a minor example of play. I feel we've made this game too quickly. I think we have nothing more to make on this.
Yeah, no, I could see it as, like, a 8-page little folded zine. I think one person draws the stars, the next person does the lantern, and the third person has to say what the thing is and, like, make the story for that.
Do you ever play those sort of, like, fax machine games?
No, what's that? What do you mean?
That's often, so, fax machine or consequence or whatever, often it's like one person does, like, a start of a drawing or a start of a story, folds it over, and the other person has to, like, add to it blind. But the way you're doing that is, like, everyone's got a single sheet, and it's all rotated around, so maybe it's like that as well.
Yeah,
yeah, but I feel like maybe you do all your stories at the end. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like, once you've made all your constellations, then you make all the stories, and then you put them together on the same sheet, and it's like, oh, there's your sky.
Yeah, I feel it's like, everyone does star drawing at once, flip round, everyone does, like, constellation drawing at once, then flip round again, and everyone goes in turn to do the storytelling. This is so done. Like, I could make that was not 3 minutes, but, like, that is a done, finished game. We can't iterate any more on this. Do we go back to the random word generator?
I guess.
Yeah.
Go first.
Okay, I'm gonna grab an adjective. Once again, got some ones where I don't want to use. Ooh. Masked.
Masked.
The ones I didn't want to use were just nationalities, and I was like, doesn't really feel like I should be doing that.
Yeah, I've got Europe on my list. What the fuck?
Yeah, I just various nationalities and, like, don't think I should be using those.
Infinite.
Masked infinite. I feel this is like a mystery.
Okay.
Like, I feel it is about unmasking someone. And I guess the question here... Because I feel like mystery games, what I know is that, like, I, having not necessarily played much, is, like, there seem to be sort of two kinds of mystery writing. Like, one is a table is making up the conclusion to a mystery together, and the other is there is a written conclusion and the table and stuff needs to find it out.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference on that? I feel like I kind of don't care. Like, I see them as different enough and I could enjoy either on either occasion. But I feel like everyone else has a strong opinion on which one they prefer.
I think the one where the table is making it together is like a mystery solving system. Then the second one is like, yes, this is a mystery module for your favourite fantasy or whatever. It's my written adventure. It's a mystery, murder mystery sort of thing. We know that the dragon did it, but whatever. But I think if I was going to write a game, it would certainly be the first one.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I think, like, we give, as part of the game, like, a bit of a setup of who the Masked Infinite is. Like, part of me is like, maybe this is, like, your, like, less a mystery here, actually, maybe. But it is sort of investigation. I think you are, like, journalists trying to unmask either a superhero or supervillain.
I like that. Yeah, it's like you are your Lois Lane. And you're trying to work out who this amazing thief or murderer or whoever is.
Okay, now, actually, I like one element I maybe have here of thinking of and trying to figure out how to put it in place. So, like, I think you maybe have, like, a set of, like, character concepts that you all sort of draw and combine. Maybe you can combine them. Maybe one is like, oh, young up-and-comer, and another one is, like, some just personality descriptions, like, cynical, or pessimistic, or, like, working-class background, or really wealthy, or something. But, like, one card that might not show up in every game, but can show up in some, is you are secretly the Masked Infinite. And while everyone else is going to be trying to, like, figure out this mystery together, you're trying to lead them away from that. I think if that doesn't show up, you're all just figuring it out together. It's probably a bit of a sort of conspiracy board building game. But yeah, if you are someone who has got the hidden role, then your role is to...
It does make it a possible hidden role game, which always end up leading to fights in my friend group.
Fair. That makes sense. Yeah, because it is kind of implicitly that. Unless there's a... I guess you could just have that open.
Remove it from the deck. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could do it, choose to remove it from the deck. You could have it be open, like, just the fact of, like, oh, I'm playing this person, so everything I'm doing is going to be misleading your characters, but, like, we both know who I am. And the question is not, like, oh, are you, the players, going to find out that I have a hidden role? It's, are your characters going to... Am I going to successfully mislead your characters? Or you could also do a version where it's like you can do it in and play it as a hidden role game. But otherwise, I think it's about, like, building a conspiracy board. I think this is maybe like a Justicar hack or something in a slight way. Like, I definitely think you build a board. I think that you probably do have some, like, different roles and different moves. Like, I think there's both people who have, like... I think, like, maybe, like, yeah, if I go deeper on this Justicar hack, like, some of you have roles where it's like, oh, you have reporters. You're reporters and you have the reporter moves. Maybe there's one person who has a role where they're, like, they get to be everyone who is interviewed. Like, every kind of, like, witness or something. Someone else maybe has, like, a role of being, like, you know, an editor-in-chief. Or someone has a role of, like, they play, like, the public Masked Infinite face.
Yeah. Like the public perception.
Yeah. So it's, like, not necessarily the same as being, like, the secret identity. It's more just like, oh yeah, if they say whatever the Masked Infinite is doing, this thing is happening, we put this thing on the board. We invent so much. No, I mean, this is actually wholly on me. I come up with so many superhero ideas on this game for someone who's always been like, yeah, I think superheroes are too overexposed to make a fun RP, like, for me to want to make a fun RPG for.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have any superhero RPGs.
I don't, but in my mind, I'm also just like, oh, I feel like the best superhero RPGs have been done.
What's the best superhero RPG?
I mean, I don't think anything is a singular best whole encompass of superhero RPGs, but I kind of feel like a lot of, like, different subtypes or specific stories in ways are done already. So I think this would probably be the interesting twist, because you are wholly doing the supporting characters as a superhero thing. You're doing Lois Lane.
The Jimmy Olsen, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what, like, the exact moves would be, for people. I don't think you need dice here, because I think it's a bit more sort of storytelling.
Yeah, I think it's like you've got a list of, the porter can add an element to the board or can link to things or whatever, and the editor-in-chief can say, go investigate this or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's like tokens. Tokens and abilities to unlike one-use abilities as well. I think this would be a Justicar. I'd definitely reread Justicar if I was writing this. But yeah, mystery game. That's kind of fun. I like that enough. I don't know if I'll be tempted over to making it.
No, I wouldn't. It seems a bit complicated with the board and stuff, but I like the idea of it. It's good.
Yeah, I've thrown out a lot of complicated ideas. This is one where, like, if we were actually trying to start, like, narrowing this down, I'd be like, okay,
let's drop half of these ideas out.
Yeah, let's maybe cut around some of these ideas. Let's maybe actually figure out what an individual character or an individual turn or action looks like. But the general idea of being a reporter, trying to investigate a hero's identity, and I think that's got such a fun sense of like an ending for a one-shot game, because it's like, do you find out? Does the hero or someone pull the wool over your eyes? Do you find out completely? Do you find out and go like, yeah, that's tomorrow's front headline news? Or do you find out and you're like, fuck, man, I can't do this? Like,
or like you get the wrong guy or something, yeah.
Ooh, that would be an interesting one if you could say, like, this is the answer you get, but, like, us, the characters, us, the players, all know that is wrong. Like, we didn't do well enough. This is fun! Would you just call it The Masked Infinite?
The Masked Infinite and then some subtitle about detectives or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought you could get a good pun name, but I don't want to spend like 6 minutes of the podcast, workshopping puns. I think we've had some good names today, and The Masked Infinite is honestly fine. I think the episode's called Data Hater.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to Game Soup!